wedding venues are booking up fast into next year, into the year after, and after that, all year round. Wedding expert Alison McGill joins us now with a few things to consider. And I guess the first off is the day that you're going to get married and when it's available. Because we were just talking, I don't remember the last Saturday wedding I went to.
Right. Saturdays are super hard to come by. And actually, it's interesting because if you want a certain venue, it might not be about what date you want. It's the day that venue is available for you.
It could be a Tuesday.
Could be a Tuesday. And we've talked about this. We're in the wedding boom. It's continuing into 2024. So if you're planning a wedding, like this year's there's a few places available. You can do sort of a quick turnaround of a wedding. 2024 is very busy. All the vendors and venues will tell you this. I spoke to somebody in Scotland, I was telling you, Annette, who it's a castle venue, very historic. They've booked a 2027 wedding. They're going to be on my podcast in a couple weeks. So
save the date.
Save the date, the type A to the max planning right there. So a few things to talk about with the venue. I mean, it is the cornerstone of the wedding. So some things to consider. First and foremost, your budget. That's obviously going to set where you're going to have that party, how much you want to spend. It's the biggest cost of your wedding because the catering's rolled into that and everything. So that's where you need to be really realistic. That's going to be kind of your top line thing that's going to determine what your wedding venue is.
Okay. And if you find that wedding venue and you think, oh, this is perfect, but they don't allow that many guests, do you think about paring the guest list down? Maybe, like I would.
I would too. I mean, it depends what's important to you.
Yeah.
And that's the next point. Capacity. Like, what is it? Is it a big wedding? Is it a small wedding? Do you need a hotel venue? Do you need a rustic venue that's going to take like 300 guests? That is a huge part of what that venue booking is going to look like for you. And then this one is super important to me, the vibe. Yeah, you want the vibe to match what that day is. And the great thing now is you can get married in so many amazing different places. It can be an art gallery, a hotel, a rustic farm venue, and the diversity of venues available to you is quite incredible right now. So on that note, I just wanted to chat about a few venues that are on my radar right now that I love that are very, very different. So we have one, downtown Toronto Entertainment District,
Very
Bisha
urban.
Hotel, very urban, Bisha Hotel. Lenny Kravitz actually did some rooms in this hotel, so that should tell you what it's all about. A little rock and roll, very cool. The event space is on the 43rd floor. It's called the Sky Suite.
And it's beautiful.
And it has these amazing views. It's for 120 guests, so that's a nice size of a wedding. But this is a place that's cool, it's urban, you're gonna get some amazing photo moments. And it's something that is obviously very opposite from something rustic and country, which is another trend that's going on.
And look at the views you'd have of the CN Tower.
Can you?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's like one of the top spots in the city to see the city. So it's a beautiful place that I love. And just to give an idea of like, this is a very hip, cool place that maybe might not be on someone's radar. And that Sky Suite is really incredible. Now, conversely, if you want to go a little bit country to the rock and roll, Sorella Farms is a new venue that's opening up in the St. Catharines area. It's on 30 acres. It's a restored barn. So the barn is from the 1800s. We've talked about the barn venues are so popular. And what's so great about them is the capacity. You can have a larger wedding there. On this property, it's very lush. It has like a vineyard capacity to it. It has 5 outbuildings where you can host all kinds of events over that bridal weekend. So the wedding weekend is a thing. So this is a great space to have all of these events, you know, the welcome dinner, the brunch afterwards, the wedding, the party, just a gorgeous place. And so it's really interesting to me what couples are choosing.
Now, are most venues asking for bigger deposits now just because there is that pent-up demand?
Well, you always have to explore the contract. So yes, I mean, it really depends from venue to venue and vendor to vendor. But obviously, when you're booking your venue, that's something you really need to go over tightly. Is the paperwork, what the consideration is, if there's a deposit, if you get that back. Because
if you can bring in outside food.
Absolutely. And I mean, all those questions really came up in the pandemic. And it was just such a hard time for everybody, couples and vendors included. So go over that. If you have a wedding planner, that's even better because they go through all of that stuff with a fine-tooth comb and they'll realize everything that you need to know about booking this venue. But as we're talking about, I can't underscore it, like it's the first thing that needs to happen. And we've got, engagements from sort of our romantic Valentine's season happening.
Yes.
And we're into summer engagements now. So if you haven't booked that venue and you're starting to plan, you might find yourself a little challenged if you want something in 2024.
Okay. So after you say yes, look for the venue.
Not the dress. After that.
Not the dress. You can figure out the dress afterwards.
You can figure out the dress. But that also, your venue will set the tone for the dress.
Okay.
It sets the tone for everything.
All right. People can listen to you on your podcast, I'll Seat.
I'll Seat. New episodes come out Thursday.
Okay, and we'll get all the links up on our website, chch.com/morninglive.